In today's lesson, we will be learning how to use Extrude Cut feature in SolidWorks. In order to do so, we will be creating this part here, following the procedure showing on the screen. Before we begin, please download the detailed drawing provided that is shown on the screen. You may want to attempt the part on your own before continuing the video. If that is so, hit the pause button now. To begin, click File, New, make sure Part is selected, click OK, wait for a while, check that your units are in millimeters, and click on this arrow button here and make sure that your origin is enabled. Select a plane, normal to, sketch a rectangle out, make sure you scratch it on the origin. Smart dimension the rectangle following the dimensions shown here. The thickness of the part will be 10 millimeters, the width will be 250 millimeters, and the total length of the part here will be 1110 millimeters. So smart dimension, $250, and when you're done, hit the tick button. Accept. Next, go to the Features tab, select Extrude Boss Base, and when it asks you to select a sketch, click the arrow button here, select Sketch 1. By default, for mine the thickness is 10 millimeters. If yours is not 10 millimeters, make sure you change this to 10 millimeters. Select Blind, the default setting, and hit the tick button. For our next step, you'll like to create a hole on the part here. So what I'm going to do is select the surface of the part as the new sketch plane, right click, normal to, so that your surface faces you perpendicularly. Go back to sketch, select a circle, sketch the circle, hit the tick button, and smart dimension the circle following the dimension shown here. First, let's set the diameter of the circle as 50 millimeters. The depth of the circle from the edge of the part is given as 105 millimeters. The distance of the circle from the middle of the circle to the left edge of the circle is given as 75 millimeters. Hit enter. Click on the tick button when you're done. Next, go to Features, Extrude Cut. Okay. This panel here pops up. Just like the extrude feature, this setting here by default is set as blind. Blind allows you to control the depth of the cut that you want. For example, if I were to rotate this image here, you can see a preview of the depth of this cut if it's set at 10 millimeters. If I set it to 5 millimeters, the depth is now shallower here. So blind allows you to select the depth by which you can select how deep you want your hole to be cut. But in this case, we want the hole to go through the entire part, the entire board. So what we're going to do is, instead of selecting blind, click on this arrow here, select through all. What it does is that it will cut a hole all the way through. Alright, and when you're satisfied, hit the tick button here. If you look at the detailed drawing here, you will notice we need to sketch 19 more circles and extrude cut 19 more holes. We can repeat the process of sketching each circle one by one and then extrude cut. However, let's be more efficient, especially when creating parts. I'm going to normal this part to my screen. Under features, there is something called linear pattern, and linear pattern will allow you to actually copy the holes in a linear pattern so that you don't have to create each hole one by one. Click on linear pattern. This panel here pops up. You'll notice that there's a direction 1 and direction 2. This allows you to copy the linear pattern in two different directions. For example, I want to copy this hole here in the X direction and also in the vertical direction or the Y direction. So let's start with the X direction. So select on this box here, alright, to indicate which direction I want it to be patterned. So I'm going to select on this edge. It could be this edge as well, but let's select this one here. Alright, this allows the hole to follow parallel to this edge here. And the next one here, the gap in between each hole, just have to follow the detail drawing dimension showing here, which is 100 millimeters. I need two holes. Okay, so by default mine is selected as 2. For the next one, for direction 2, we want to copy in the Y direction or in the vertical direction. So I could select either of these edges for the circle to follow to be parallel with. So let's select on this edge. Again, the gap is 100 millimeters following the drawing here, and we need 10 holes. Okay, mine is at 10. If yours is not at 10, select this box here and key in the number. Alright, under features and faces, what you like to select next is obviously the circle, the cutout of the circle. So what you want to do next is click on this arrow here. If yours is not open, select cut extrude. Okay, and by default mine shows the circle to look like this. This is a preview image. Okay, you can rotate to look at it. Okay, if yours doesn't look like mine, or it's something like this, it's outside the screen, what you can do is click on this arrow button here to flip it so that it goes back into the part. Alright, when you're satisfied with it, hit the tick button and you're done.